This time on KEI Fabrication. Alright folks, here we go again. Let's see what kind of success we have tonight. Just got here, just unloading, getting ready to go through tech. Well folks, I'm off to a bad start. I just went through tech and they bounced me because my battery is relocated near the back bumper and my cutoff switch does not go to the exterior of the vehicle. So I'm actually on my way to Lowe's to buy whatever I need to make something to turn that switch off. My big dilemma is I've got to find a racer here that has a cordless drill that I can poke a hole through the bumper and poke a hole through the rear valance of the Mazda to reach the switch. So I'm a little I totally understand them doing their job. I'm more angry at myself because I knew it. Last time I was here, the battery was actually behind the driver's seat, and they never even asked where it was. They didn't see it, they didn't ask, and I thought I could get away with it. This time the tech guy was a sharp dude. He said, "Where's your battery?" And I showed it to him, and he said, "That's not going to pass, zero tolerance policy." So I'm on the highway in the race truck, headed to Lowe's, and see what I can come up with, see if I can find a way to drill a hole in the bumper and get some runs in. I drove 3 hours up here. It's $100 and some worth of fuel just in the tow vehicle alone. I'm just trying to make the best of it. Sometimes you just gotta pull out all the stops, so that's where I'm headed. I'll let you know how I make out. Alright folks, made it through tech. I relocated the battery switch. That's a long story. I'll get you up to speed in a little while. I didn't have time to put my small camera on the roof. Bad news, they made me take the hubcaps off. The good news is they let me keep the ladder on. So I'm getting in the lanes for the first time with this combination, and let's just see how it goes. I wish I could get some footage for you, but hopefully this thing will go more than one pass, and we'll get some footage from the outside anyway. Here we go. Well folks, that was encouraging. It went a 1379 and I didn't shift it soon enough. It got into the limiter twice, so it actually 60-footed pretty good. So we'll see what the time slip says in just a minute. Alright folks, I don't know if you can see it, but I went right back in the lanes because I lost some time trying to get this thing through tech, but it went 1379 at I think 98 miles an hour. I got into the rev limiter on my first to second, and I actually got into it a couple of more times going into third. It's 60-footed at a 2.0. I can definitely give it more. I just have street radials on it, not drag radials, just regular street tires. I did a quick burnout to heat them up. I'll do a smaller burnout this time, and I'll try it again and get through the rev limiter, try to avoid that the best I can. So I'm real rusty. I haven't raced this in almost a year and a couple of months, and it's a totally new combination as far as how this thing has traction, and the gear ratio is different, so I'm going to take a little while to get dialed in. So this is the right side is mine, 870 is my number. So anyway, we'll try this again. Alright folks, I just made my second run. It was a good clean run. It seemed to shift okay without getting into the limiter. It did go quicker. I went 1359 at 99.89. It's still 60 footing at a 2.0. It did spin pretty hard coming out. I'm going to try airing down a couple pounds on each tire in the back. So some changes for this run will be ran 25 psi in the rear now. I'm going to drop it down to 22. And I uncapped the headers. So I'm going to run with open headers this time. And just see if it likes it or not. So the big problem I had with closed exhaust on the run against this guy, it was a car with open headers. After I got in second gear, he was right next to me. I couldn't hear a thing. So I may have actually short shifted it into third. And we're just going to have to see. With the open pipes, it should help me hear better. So might take me a couple of runs to get dialed in, but we'll see what happens. All right, here we go, guys. The lane started moving. They had some sort of breakdown on the track, as usual. So again, this run here is run number 3 with the exhaust cutouts opened up. And I'm running 22 psi in the rear tires, and it's pretty cold out right now. The temperature dropped a little bit. The truck sat for a while. My temperature gauge is down to like 140. The other 2 runs it was at 160. So we'll see what it does. Here we go. Well folks, that didn't work good at all. I don't know what happened, but man, the thing spun the tires on the starting line. It spun the tires through second gear. Something had to be on the track. So I'm going to actually try the other lane, see what happens. I ran a 1459. I'm not sure if it's actually causing problems with the headers uncorked, so we'll see. Alright folks, that was run number 4 on the left lane. It still spun hard. I short shifted second and just kind of took it easy in third. And it still ended up going like a 13.9 or something like that. So the starting line just completely went away. Of course, I'm on street radials anyway. So I'm going to try a little longer burnout or something. I don't know. I'm just doing round robin laps here, going right back to the lanes. Actually seeing how it's behaving. I'm using my switch to turn the fans on right up until I make the run to keep the temperature down. I'm using my switch over here for my line lock, and that's working awesome. So a lot of the things that I did to try to make the drag strip experience as best as it could be is working out pretty good. So now I just need to get another decent number out of this thing. I just don't know if the starting line has anything left in it. It's the last Friday night thing of the season, so you know they're not doing anything to prep the track. There's street tire rubber, there's slick rubber, so who knows. Alright folks, run number 5 was slightly better, still blew the tires off on the line. The track has just completely gone away. I actually put the caps back on the exhaust pipes, and I put a couple more pounds back in the rear tires. I'm up to 26 pounds in the rear, and I actually put 46 pounds in the front. I went up from 35 just to see if some less rolling resistance would make any difference on the ET. So anyway, just playing around, little experiments. I think the best number has been run already for tonight, the way the track is. So we're pulling up to the burnout box now, and we'll see how run number 6 goes. Alright folks, I'm back in the lanes. That run didn't go well at all. The starting line on the right lane is completely gone. I pretty much hazed the tires all the way through first, right into the rev limiter, and grabbed second. I think I kind of know what the note prep guys are deal with on a much less powerful basis, obviously. But man, there's just nothing there to get a hold of. So I'm going to try the left lane. Some other guys were talking about the left lane being better. This may be the last run of the night, not only for me, but for the entire track. So there goes nothing. Alright folks, that was run number 7. I did a little bit better of a burnout, and I really just babied it off the line. It spun a little bit, but pulled good, and it ran a 13.71, so it's pretty much back to where it was, considering the starting line was as bad as it is. So anyway, that's it for tonight. I'll sit down when I get some time to go through the time slips, and we'll walk through the things how it goes. My wife has been in the stands doing some videotaping, so hopefully we can correlate some runs with some video. Well folks, we made it through the night. The truck ran good. It made it back on the trailer, and we made the 3-hour trip back home, no problem. I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning, and as I alluded to in the first part of the my night at the drags, is I actually got failed at tech because I relocated the battery, and as soon as you relocate the battery, you've got to put a remote switch on at the back of the vehicle, and it has to be marked. So the safety switch, I think if you watch one of the previous videos, used to be like right here, and my intention by mounting it there was to put the push rod here so that you'd have the push off situation. So I was on my way to the hardware store to buy some threaded rod and a drill bit and stuff to after I got failed from tech. I traveled 3 hours up there. I paid the entry fee. I was really distraught, and I said, well, let me run to the hardware store and I'll get a knob from their hardware department and some 1/4 threaded rod, and I'll come out and I'll drill a hole in the lever, and I'll make it so when you push off, it'll turn the switch off. Well, while I was running around trying to find a hardware store, I actually drove the truck. I unloaded it off the trailer, went to tech, drove from tech, got on the highway and went to a Lowe's that was one exit away. I said, well, if there's enough slack in the cables, let me see if I can put the whole switch out here, and that would eliminate the difficulty of trying to fabricate a rod and get a knob and everything to make all that work. So I bought a hole saw that was the right diameter for the shank on the safety switch, and I needed a drill, so I actually asked the gentleman at Lowe's, is there any way I could borrow a demo drill or something that the customers use to test them out? And he tried to figure out how he could do it, and he says, hey, I'll tell you what, drive it over by the contractor entrance, and he says, I'll meet you out there and I'll bring the drill with me. So that's exactly what I did. He brought the drill outside. It was a nice little DeWalt drill, and I drilled the hole through with the hole saw, and I bought a paint pen so I could indicate the on and off. I went back to the track, and the tech guy was actually all excited because I was able to relocate the switch, and he tested it to make sure it shut the truck off, and he was as happy or happier about me actually getting through tech than I was. It was kind of neat. He explained that he had to do his job. It was a safety thing, and I totally get that. It's, you know, he's absolutely 100% correct doing his job. Obviously, it's discouraging for anybody that doesn't go through tech, especially after the effort of getting to the track and then finding out something like this is going to prevent you from making any runs. But we overcame the situation. You know, fortunately, it is a street truck, and I was able to just fire the thing up and drive down the road and go to the hardware store, come back, unbolt this from the bracket in the back. There's plenty of slack in the wires, thank God, and I was able to get it up here in the back bumper, and it worked perfect. So very happy about that. Sometime in the near future, I will probably put the switch back where it was and actually build the correct push rod, if you will, because I don't know, I think this is a little more vulnerable. I could remove the push rod when I'm not racing and put it in when I am racing, so the switch just isn't out here in the open. I do use it as a truck, you know, lifting things in and out of the tailgate and stuff like that. So anyway, that's a long story, but it was kind of cool. The guy at Lowe's was really cool, and I thanked him a bunch and shook his hand, and you know, made him understand that he really salvaged my trip to the track and made it possible to go out there and make some runs. So it was kind of neat. So alright, I'm going to put the spare tire and the jack back in this thing, and then I've got to unload, and I have to go to school in another hour. So again, it's a daily driver, and we also like to take it to the track.